Hi, this is Dee with the CSI Project, and we are here with another CSI Confidential podcast. And my guest today is Ahna. She is a craft blogger at easierthanithought.com. And the reason why I asked her, because not only is she a craft blogger, but she is also a former middle school teacher. So she knows, of course, she knows a whole lot about going back to school. She knows a whole lot about it from that perspective from being a teacher, but as well as what the students go through. And she has a lot of experience behind her, and she's also a craft blogger, so that makes her double duty this week. It, of course, is back to school week. So all week long, we're going to be talking about how to get those kids back to school and, of course, crafting for it, because not only do we get those kids back to school, but we also like to craft for it and to maybe you're having back-to-school parties. Maybe you are having a special back-to-school dinner. And so you're creating for all of those things. But not only that, you're also could be creating gifts for the teacher to say, welcome to a new year. And as I always say, I don't think it hurts to butter those teachers up just a tad bit. I always try to do that. And also because the teachers really appreciate being appreciated. So we should all think about those teachers as we go back to school and what they do for our kids and how they are helping our kids succeed in life. And I do have Ahna with me right now, so I'd like to say hi to Ahna.
Hello there.
Hello, welcome to the CSI Project. Of course, you are a follower because, and also on Facebook. That's how I found you, because you evidently saw on Facebook. So that's really, really fun that you follow the CSI Project. And like I said, her blog is easierthanithought.com. You can actually see it on your screen. And it looks like that she has done some cool things to her blog, kind of jazzed it up a bit so you can read all about that. But Ahna, I wanted you to tell us who you are, why you blog, and of course give us all those goods because that's what we care about, and your inspiration that you give us. So tell us how you started blogging and what made you start blogging.
Well, it was actually a natural transition for me. I feel like once I made the decision to become a stay-at-home mom, and I was home during the day with my daughter. I started to have a little bit of downtime as she got older and started taking longer naps. And so I was creating and creating and creating, but I didn't really feel like I had a way to publish my work or to share it with others. So being the English teacher that I was in the classroom, it was a natural transition for me to blog about it and to write about it and to explain things and break things down and tutorials and such. It was just something that I did all the time as a teacher, so it felt natural for me to be able to record and do that in a blog format. So that's why I started Easier Than I Thought. My husband actually helped me come up with the name of it. I didn't really know, like what I wanted to do. A lot of people, I think, struggle with how to find a name and such. And as we were kind of brainstorming things, he came up with that one. And I feel like it really is representative of what I do as a crafter. I really love to be self-taught, and if I don't know how to do something, I'm a risk taker. I'm not afraid to go and research it and learn how to do it. And I do really feel like a lot of times that, and most of the time probably, I would say that everything that I do teach myself and learn is really easier than I thought. So I thought that would be a perfect name for the blog, and seems to be kind of catchy and easy to remember. So that's where I started, and like I said, it came kind of naturally, and so I've been really enjoying it.
Yeah, I think a lot of times when we start blogs, I think that's what the blog world does. It's just a creative outlet. It's just a way to share your crafts, but not only that, it's a community. And it's you get to meet people, even if it's not in real life, you get to meet people.
Sure.
And see all their projects, and you get to share and inspire, and that's really the fun of it. Yeah,
Yeah, and really learn things from other people as well. exactly.
Right. And I'm sure in the classroom, I'm sure you were being crafty. I'm sure you came up with crafty things in the classroom and decorating the classroom and that sort of thing. I'm sure that that was a way to create for you as well. And so when that ended, I'm sure you were kind of thinking, well, I don't want to quit doing those sort of things.
Yeah, what am I going to do next with all
Yeah.
this? Exactly. I mean, that's how I feel like as far as talking about a transition. When I was younger, I was a musician, and as I got married and, you know, we got involved with being homeowners and things, like some of those things I couldn't be involved in as much. And so then I started, you know, my teaching career, and so as that became more and more prevalent in my life, I started gathering ideas from workshops and other teachers and so forth, and kind of, you know, molding them to my classroom and how they would work for my students and so forth. And I feel like that's kind of what I do with my crafting as well now, taking things, you know, that I see in magazines or in the store or from Pinterest or, you know, at somebody's house that I like, and thinking, okay, I like that, but I like these elements of it, and how can I make it work in my house and for my family and so forth. So it is fun. It's the same, like you said, the same kind of process, but just in a different format.
Yes, yes. It is a different format, but it's so fun. And that's what I love about craft blogs. I love the story behind the blog. And I also love that your husband helped you. I think that I think what people don't realize is behind these blogs are some pretty great guys, and they're very supportive. And so I think it's wonderful that he helps you out, and he helped come up with the
He
name.
knows that it's exactly. He does, and he does help me and assist me in some things that I can't do by myself. Because, you know, I mean, there's always something, you need somebody to hold something, or you know, whatever.
Oh, I know.
But, you know, he's always willing to do it. So he is a good support, I have to agree.
Right, and very supportive
Yep.
of craft blogging, your next phase of life, craft blogging, with your coming from teaching world to this. And so with the teaching world, and I know you taught middle school, so you taught the older kids, probably, what, 13, 14, or yeah, and even into high school. And so, but I think overall, as kids go throughout school, that still some of the same things apply to no matter what age they are. And so there's probably a lot perspective that you gained. You have the perspective of being a teacher, but you also have the perspective of seeing the different kids and seeing how to do things, and of course dealing with parents. So as we send our kids off to school, which mine have been in school since July, so we're kind of different in that way. We've been in school for a while, about a month now. But as the kids across the country are headed back to school, this week, next week, whatever it is, what are your tips as far as getting our kids prepared for the new year? What can parents do to help the teacher out as we send our kids to school?
Well, I think one of the things, like you said, a lot of schools haven't quite gone back yet, but start getting them into the routine of school and getting them into that mindset and start talking about it. And as I was thinking about, what I wanted to say here, I thought about goal setting and how important I feel like, in talking about school, like, what did you like about last year? And, what are the things that you want to do the same this year, or what are the things that you need to do differently this year, and help pointing those things out, and even writing those things down. I know I've seen many times on different, news programs and whatever about goal setting that if you write it down, you're more apt to follow through with it, so maybe try and get together a plan for, like, maybe your child needs to work, and they recognize that they need to work on spelling. So how, start coming up with a plan. How are we going to tackle this problem? We know that that's something that you struggle with, so what are we going to do differently this year? Those kinds of things. And focus on the successes as well, and things that, that they've done well in the past, and what is, how does that make you successful, and how did you achieve that, and recognizing that as well for them to continue those good habits. Those types of things are I feel like, going to be more valuable than a lot of the things that they're going to be seeing on TV and, about how to start school and so forth. So.
Right. No, I think that is a good goal because, if kids, or it's good to have goals because if kids did something really good the first, last year, then encourage them to continue on that same path, and point out the good things that they did and say, let's keep this going, let's keep this up, and what can I do to help you to keep up this good, this good thing going, and that's not bribery or anything like that, just encouraging them to do well, and the things that they really succeeded at to continue down that path. I think it's a great thing, and I think writing out the goals, like you said, is the best thing we can do, and that can become a craft project because you can make that really cute. This is our goal.
Yep.
This is what we did last year. This is our goals for this year. We do that.
Having someplace in the house to post it.
Yeah.
And, maybe every month or so look at it and say, how's this going? And it also gives them something particular to talk about, because I know as kids get older, a lot of parents complain that, oh, you ask them, how was school today? Fine. Well, if you had something that was specific that you had talked about, you could refer to that and say, well, how is, this subject coming along, or this goal that you set? How is that, how is that coming along, and what are you doing to work towards it? So I agree. That'd be great.
Right, and I hope this week people will, if they have done a project like that, I hope they will link it up to show people how to organize, even if it's a homework organizer, something like that, in ways to organize that, and how we can maybe organize our goals. And I know a lot of people have, command centers in their home where everything goes to that one little place, maybe
right.
They can write out their homework or write out whatever they're doing and keep it all right there. So I hope that this week will encourage people to link that kind of stuff up, because we can all learn from that. We can all, especially if you have kids that haven't started school yet, what a great advantage you are at, because you are getting in and you can start their school off right. And whereas somebody who has older kids may be kind of late on doing some of those things, but no matter how old they are, I think you can still write out the goals and have like a command center like that where they put down everything. And I know one project I saw was keeping, all those papers when they come home from school. They have so many papers, and there's some that you throw away, but then there's some, like maybe they got a really good grade on a test, you may want to keep that. Or so yeah, there's definitely I saw a cool project where you can keep those in a book, and so throughout the year you can keep it in a book, and then at the end of the year they can look at it, or even the beginning of the next school year, and see. And that's also good for goal setting, and say,
yeah, because
I did this and I want to do this again. So little things like that, and is great tips. As far as teachers. As far as when kids come into your classroom and it's a new year, what do you look for as far as how well prepared they are? Can you tell how well prepared they are by how they act, or by what they come in with? Yeah.
You can. When you look out over the classroom, you know that there are kids that struggle with getting back into the routine and getting back into the sleeping habits that are required, to be able to be successful in school. And I know it's difficult for parents to start that off early, but I suggest at least a week beforehand, that you start putting them into bed the same time that you would normally, as if they were in school, just to get them back into that pattern, and getting them up early in the morning, and getting them on that routine of maybe having some quiet time in the evening, you know, kind of practicing like that homework hour or so, or however many hours it is that you spend, and have them start maybe reading or, you know, doing something that is quiet, a game of some sort, word game, something like that, that they could focus on and start to try and focus their attention, because, you know, a lot of times in the summer you're used to that constant, you know, watching TV and playing video games and being entertained all the time, and it's hard to get back into that mode of being, you know, diligent and, you know, studying something, and having that quiet time is difficult for some kids. So, you know, I encourage you to maybe take an hour out of the evening and have that for the children to do. It's something, like I said, quiet, and something that involves concentration would be one of my suggestions. You know, just trying to get into that mode and talking about school, and I think all of those things put together would, you know, definitely help the kid be prepared in the classroom for sure.
Right, right. And of course, all those little things that we do to help them out, you know, a good breakfast and trying to get them, you know, ready to go like that, you know, helping them out in that way too is always getting them prepared for that. And of course, the sleeping. I think the sleeping is the hardest part. I think because kids do get so used to just kind of going to bed.
Even as teachers, it's hard.
It's hard. It's hard because summertime spoils everybody. We kind of just forgo our routines, and we kind of just let it all go. You know, vacations, and you just don't think about those kinds of things. But getting the kids prepared, going to bed early, starting that early, and starting them on that. And then maybe they eat breakfast later in the summer, starting them eating breakfast early in the school year.
Right, and yeah, and I know a lot of times the eating schedule is way off. Your child might eat at like 10:30, 11 in the morning, you know, and that's way different too. They might not be used to eating lunch until 1:30 in the afternoon. So yeah, that will make a difference as well in getting them on that kind of schedule to help fuel their brain.
Right, right. And of course, with every school year comes homework, and I think the older they get, it just seems to become so much. So how would you encourage parents to help with the homework? Obviously, we can help so much. You obviously don't want to do the homework for the kids. That does nobody any good. But you also want to encourage and help and try to do that. And being a teacher, you know how to guide and lead kids through that. So what is the best way to help our kids with homework? Because it can look like a novel sometimes.
Right, right. I think sometimes setting them up for success. And two things that I think about when I think about homework and encouraging your child at home would be having a place for them to do homework, and that is a consistent place, and giving them an environment in that place that is conducive to learning. Now, I know a lot of people do homework at the kitchen table, but for some learners, that is too distracting, and you really need to gauge that with your child and see, you know, what type of learner are they are. Are they distracted by things that might be going on in the kitchen? You're cooking dinner, you know, you might be watching TV, other people may be walking through, you know, and it might be too crazy of a place to be thinking about doing homework for, you know, a certain specific type of learner. You know, other kids, they don't have any kind of problem with that. They can listen to music and do, you know, and do their homework too. But like I said, you need to really kind of tune into what your child is doing and actually watch them while they're trying to do their homework and see if that is a successful place for them to be able to concentrate, and that's the main thing. The second thing I think of in setting them up for success is also helping them we talk about, as far as giving homework help, and a lot of times some kids start to really rely on their parents to help them actually sometimes do their homework.
Yeah.
But I know that
it's
some
so
people
true,
are
though.
guilty of it. So, and I know it's easy to do. It can be frustrating to work with your own child sometimes in that way, and it can be almost just like, oh, just let me do it, But the thing to think about is you need to make them this learning experience for them, right? Because they're ultimately the one that's going to be tested, and they have to produce some kind of mastery of that specific skill. So in the end, you're not going to be able to really help them all that much, even though you think you are. But so obviously they need to have some skills and some way to compensate for that. So you need to really think about putting together some type of a plan for them as far as receiving help. So maybe they have something that they're struggling with, and you encourage them to try it themselves. And then if they are still not understanding, maybe have them write down some questions pertaining to what I don't understand. What is it specifically that you don't understand about it? Because sometimes that can be nebulous and say, well, what don't you understand? Well, I don't know. I just don't understand it, But trying to pinpoint what you don't understand is sometimes harder, but is where you're really going to find the success for both of you, trying to teach them what it is they don't understand and trying to get more information on it and trying to actually come to a conclusion about it. That is going to be helpful to them, both in and out of the classroom. And it's okay to be wrong, It's okay for you to say to your child, I don't get that either, Let's find the answer together. The internet can be a great resource, but so can older siblings. Other people sometimes can explain things to a child in a way that maybe they don't understand when you explain it. So if an older sibling may be willing to help, sometimes that helps. Sometimes that hurts too, I know.
Yeah.
But just trying to get some kind of a policy together as for when you don't understand something, what do you do? And the same thing goes in the classroom. When you don't understand something, I've always had that student that, raise your hand. I don't understand. What don't you understand? I don't know. I just don't understand. So trying to get them to be a self-advocate and trying to break it down and be patient are all skills that are going to be successful in and out of the classroom for them.
Right, and don't you think too? I do. I think that's a great thing to point out, because I know when the kids get to a certain point in school, their math gets really hard, and you don't come to me with those kind of math things. That's when I say, oh, okay, I didn't really do it that well the first time around, so why don't you go to your dad, who did do it well all the time. So, but I know that can be so difficult. For me, it was math, and for my husband, it's that comes very naturally to him. But then it could be other things for me that I can help out better with, like the English and the writing and that sort of thing. So I think too, for kids, the kids know, they know who can help them, and I think it's great to say that, yeah, the older siblings can definitely help. That's the wonderful thing about having kind of a widespread in age of kids, because they can help each other out a little bit more. But one thing I've kind of learned and kind of thought is, being in contact with the teachers also helps, because it's nice to know from the teacher what your kid struggles with, I know with our...
I think making that initial contact is very important. A lot of people skip the back to school night. They think, oh,
I'm done.
I've met that teacher before. Johnny had them, and so Billy, the younger kid, I don't need to meet them, whatever.
Right.
But what we don't know is if we don't know necessarily that they're siblings, or that, you know what I mean? So making that initial contact and being able to say, I am so-and-so's mother or father, and, they may struggle with this, or this is going on at home right now. Those things are also important to know. If you have a death in the family, or if you had something major or traumatic that happened, that's good to know as a teacher. Just, send a note in, that kind of thing. Or, like you said, something that they're struggling with on a subject, a specific subject. But then, that part goes back to, what I was saying before about, like, well, it would help me just to see, like, they didn't understand the homework and nobody could help them, but just to see that you tried and that you wrote some things down and that, there was some effort there, that goes a long ways towards me trying to see what they don't understand and trying to help in that way as well.
Right, right. I think that's good. You're right. I think some parents may say, well, I already know this teacher, or I went to meet the teacher night, and that's all I need to do. I think now with all of our technology, with email and blogs, I know some teachers have blogs, really there's no excuse for not knowing what your child is doing, because we have blogs, we have websites,
online, and
yeah, we have grades online, and I know with the teachers that the kids have had, they post what they're going to be learning 2 weeks out. So it kind of helps me if I know that my child's going to be doing multiplication tables soon. I can kind of start saying, okay, let's kind of start talking about it before you even do it at school. And that helps, helps kind of, so it's not such a shock, or kind of get her thinking in that direction. I know right now, just with our technology, that's the way it's going. And I think that's wonderful that teachers can now, because, sometimes you send, back in the day, especially maybe when we were kids, teachers would send home notes. Well, is that note, sometimes that note may not make it home.
Exactly.
I'm sure there was plenty my parents didn't see, but, those kinds of things. Now with what we have, there really is no reason why you shouldn't kind of know what your kids are doing at school. And maybe in high school it's a little bit more difficult, but we really, we should be able to, you can see grades, you can check on their progress. And so I think that's really good that teachers have that ability now. I think it helps the teacher as well as the student. And I'm really grateful for technology that we have that. It's a good resource for teachers as well.
It is.
That they can reach out to parents and get that help. And I also know that a lot of schools and a lot of teachers are buying their own supplies and really putting in a lot of money and effort. And I think it's good that now they can kind of say, they can have it online, this is my wish list. And as far as parents go, we can purchase those things and help out the teacher, whereas before, maybe the teacher didn't have a way to say that that's what they need. And a lot of teachers, what?
No matter what district, I said you'd be surprised no matter what kind of district you live in, how many kids don't still come to school with nothing. Their family might not be able to afford it. And so that's where the teachers, we pick up the slack and we, give the kids what we have and out of our own pocket. And that's what you do, And like you said, for those parents that can afford to pick up a few extra boxes of crayons or whatever it is, that's always helpful, always, no matter what grade you teach. And I'm not kidding. Even in eighth grade.
Even in high school, I'm sure there's those teachers that they wish, they're buying stuff for their students, and they wish that they had that, just that every little bit of help. It always helps, and you're right. No matter what district you're in, it helps to have those parents that are involved and they want to be able to help. Because there are some kids, and you do want to help out, and I think that's wonderful that we can do that and help the other kids out at the same time, and the other families. And I think we should all be looking for those families that we can help out throughout the year. But I do think that's a really good point.
It's a great way to incorporate crafts as well. Why not just make a bouquet of school supplies.
School supplies, yeah.
But make sure it's useful and usable. That you're not gluing, whatever to a coffee mug and we can't get it off.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, those teachers love those gifts. They love those welcome back to a new year gifts. They love that. I know they do, and I think it's wonderful that we can make something with our child, and they're excited to give it to their teacher. My little third grader was so excited to give it to her teacher, and
those are the kinds of things
just,
that you remember
yeah,
as a teacher. It really is, and it
yeah.
does, to some extent, endear you towards that student. I mean, because you know that was something that they spent time on, and the parents spent time on, and it is meaningful.
It is meaningful, and I think any way that we can show appreciation to our teachers, we should do that, because it's a hard job, and it's a job that has a lot of responsibility that goes with it. You are teaching these children and helping them to succeed, and yeah, you pass them on to the next grade, but you really are, for that year, you really are their guidance, and when you set them off on the right path, they go throughout the other grades knowing that you did that, and they have confidence. And I think that teaching is one of those jobs that it's just such a huge responsibility, and it carries a lot of weight. And I'm so grateful
I agree.
for
I
good
think
teachers.
Now more than ever, I know there's a lot of financial problems in a lot of districts across the country, and a lot of layoffs in our profession, and things happening that they feel really discouraged about. And any way that you can show appreciation and let them know that they're valued, and that you respect what they do, it goes so far. Those are the, and even so much as just sending in a thank you note of any sort. I kept those notes in a file, and on days where I would have a bad day, I would take those out and read them, from parents. I know that you have the kids do that a lot of times, but a lot of times I had my favorite notes for some, from some of the parents, because maybe the kids were too shy to say what they liked about your class, or what they learned, or what they enjoyed. But the parents said, we're able to say, my child loved this about your classroom, or my child loves learning about X, Y, Z and the way that you taught it. Those are the kinds of things that really, really put a smile on your face when you're having a bad day.
Exactly, and that's what it's about.
It's
because
very simple.
The school year can be long and grueling, and we definitely need those reminders, and to help, and also for the parents, you need that reminder that you're going to make it through. Everything's going to be okay. But just when you're in the thick of it, it can be overwhelming. And there's so much going on, especially if you have more than one child. There's so much going on, and everybody has their own activities. And it could be overwhelming with getting each kid to where they need to be. And it could be a little much. So I think it's wonderful that we can call on our teachers to help, but also help our teachers, and we can all work together, because that's really what it is about. It's a community and helping each other. And I think if people would look at it that way, it would help out. If they would look at it as a community.
Allies.
Yeah.
Together, yes, for sure.
It doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be a hard school year. We can make it. We can do that. We can do it together. And also calling on, not only your teachers, but the principal and those people that can help you too. It's a big community, and I think that's the way to look at it and the way to go about it. And being there and doing the things that you can do, and knowing your own schedule so that you can help your kids out whenever possible, and of course make that teacher's year a little bit better. I think it's the little things that we do that help those teachers. A little note, a little reminder of what a good teacher they are. Those little things go a long way. And as crafty bloggers that we are, I know that we have so much inspiration at our fingertips. And so I hope that this week, when everybody is linking up, that we will pin those ideas and go back later and use them. I love it because I can do that. I can pin, and then I can use that throughout the school year. I can share it with my friends, and we can all do that together. And that's why I'm excited about Back to School Week, and I chose it for this week, because I know this week and the week after next, everybody's going back to school at this time. And it's but not only for us, and not only for our kids, but we're also going back to school. It seems like that. So it seems like when your kids go back to school, you're going back to school because it's a little overwhelming. But hopefully this week there will be lots of organization ideas. And obviously you're going to be guest judging too. You're going to be picking your favorites. And what better to do that than a former teacher? You know, that's great that you can do that. But what are you going to be looking for? Ideas for your daughter when she gets older, or that maybe you can steal some of those ideas and incorporate them later?
You know, I do have some things on Pinterest that I've already started pinning of things that I've seen as the past, you know, however long I've been a member of Pinterest. In thinking about that, you know, in mind, like, oh, I would have loved to have had this, so, you know, I can do this for my daughter's teachers. And so those are the kinds of things that I do like. But also, I mean, I have to, you know, revert back to what's natural to me and think, oh, if I was in the classroom, I would love that because, you know.
Right. It would help me because.
So those are the kinds of things. Or, oh, that is a great parent and a great idea of things to do at home with your kids, and they are really encouraging their child to succeed, you know, and I'll be looking maybe at some of those kinds of things too.
Right. I think that's perfect. And I know with the community of crafters that we have and the little CSI community that we have, I know that there's going to be so many great things linked up, and I'm extremely excited to use those ideas in my own life, but also very excited that everybody can use those ideas and we can all share those ideas and come together and talk about this very, very important time in our kids' lives. And you know, sadly, even when they get to college, you may think you're losing them, and that's what I'm telling myself. It's not happening. It's not happening. But also helping them in college, because that's a huge transition, and getting them prepared for that. It goes so much beyond just moving them into the dorm. It's being there for them. It's helping them out, and so truly, it's something that we will always do. As we help our kids go through school. And I do have to say that college comes way too quickly. Even when you think you've got so much time, it comes really quickly. And so we could still prepare our kids for that and get through that and help them out. And I'm thinking that I really want to do, you know, not just helping out with laundry, but I'm really thinking, you know, I probably need to go take my stepson out to dinner and and you know, help him out that way and just kind of show him support, because I know that when they get to college, they're on their own and they think they're doing it on their own, but they can always come home. And I think being there for them even in college is so important, to be that support system, even though it's different. It's completely different, but it's still that support system, and getting them ready for that, and being there for them as we are with our younger kids. So maybe there's even hope for us who have kids going off to college. Who knows? Maybe somebody will link something up that will help me as I adjust to this whole college life, and you know, accepting that it's really happening this week.
Well, but you really have one in all grade levels.
All grades.
You got college, you got high school, middle school, elementary.
I know.
So you're kind of representing the whole gamut.
I know. You just come to the CSI house and you got it all here. We're ready. We're prepared for every. So this week, you know, if you have questions, I'm prepared. I can answer anything. We have college, like you said. We go all the way down to the 3rd grade. So that's what's great about having kids in a kind of a long span, because you have kids at all ages and you have kids going through things, you know, it's not just, you know, they're not close in age, so you know, you have them going through all sorts of stuff. One's, you know, learning how to drive, one's, you know, and then maybe one's going off to kindergarten. So it's great having kids of all ages, and it definitely helps you prepare. And you definitely learn a lot along the way, and you learn what not to do and what to do. So you know, always the first kid's always the guinea pig, so, you know, who knows. But it is interesting, so I hope everybody can do that as we prepare for college. and high school and middle school and third grade. But we've been doing it around here. We started school, like I said, in late July, so we've been doing it. But I know for so many kids across the country, they are just starting back, and I just absolutely love these little kindergartners starting school. It makes me want to cry seeing all these little kids going off to school, because you only get the first day of kindergarten once, and that can be very sad to think about, but it only happens once. And so I'm really wishing that they would have had Pinterest way back in the day, because there's so many great ideas out there of how to, and how to remember that. Like I saw, the memories. I think that's great. I think if you have that, link it up for sure, because there's so many parents out there, like I said, that are at an advantage because they have Pinterest in their life, that they can start that even if they have babies at home. I love this little idea I saw with sidewalk chalk, and they wrote out the grade and have your kid take a picture beside it every year. What a great idea. And now he's in college, and who knew? And I can't make him lay down on the driveway with sidewalk chalk. Maybe I can. I might have to think about that one. Write down the name of his college. He won't go for it, but wouldn't that have been a cute idea when he was, going off to kindergarten the first time? So I think Pinterest is a wonderful thing, and I think parents are at such an advantage, especially these crafty moms are at such an advantage, because you can start these kids off and have that memory and not let anything get past. You have that, and it's such a great way to remember these kids going off to school. So I hope this week is inspirational, and I hope you have a great time guest judging, and I hope you have a great time looking at visiting all the blogs, because that's a great thing.
I can't wait.
It's a hard, being a guest judge, I tell everybody, it's a hard gig, because we have some wonderful crafters out there, and we have some major competition. But it's also a very inspirational gig, because you get a lot of ideas, and you get to go visit all of these fun blogs, and maybe it's a blog you've never even heard of. And you get to go over there and visit it, and you make a new friend. So being a guest judge really has its advantages, and it's just so much fun. And I love having a guest judge, and it also makes my life easier, because I only have to make one pick. And making that one pick is very difficult. So I'm really glad that I'm not the judge each week, because it is very, very difficult, and I don't know how you do it, but you're going to have so much fun. And of course, as always, we don't ever let the person who's being interviewed for the blog podcast go without answering a couple of questions. Very easy, but you're going to have to think. But it may be easier than you thought, hopefully. Yeah. But for all those people who just want to know more about you, what are 3 blogs that you go to daily, that you absolutely love, you can't miss, your favorite blogs, your favorite bloggers? What are your top 3?
I would have to say Jess at Craftiness is Not Optional.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I like the way, I guess it's because I have a little girl, and I love the things that she makes for her girls. And she's definitely an inspiration towards the sewing aspects of my crafty life. I enjoy Jen from Tater Tots and Jello.
Yes, we
always
love
has
Jen.
Some kind of different something going on. Whether
we love her. She's my blog celebrity. I just love her. She's wonderful.
And how many did you say I had to have? 3?
3, yeah.
Okay. 3, and let me think. The third one would probably be Inherently Creative.
Oh, Becky. Yes.
Yeah,
you got Becky in there. Well, she's wonderful too. So, I'm going to be hanging out with Becky this weekend.
A lot of different cool ideas, and I like how she builds things. To me,
yes.
does great things with building things, and that's kind of a new thing to me. So that's been an inspiration as well.
Right. I like that about her too. She's not afraid of the power tools, where I'm still a little afraid of power tools. So
I know.
I haven't ventured off either. I tend to ask my husband to do it. I haven't ventured off either. But yeah, she's definitely an inspiration, and of course I just love her, and I'm hanging out with her Sunday through Tuesday. So I'm very excited to see her. And to get to talk to her and catch up and all those fun things. And I will definitely pass on that you love her to her. She'll probably listen to this podcast. So, but also, the last question that we don't ever let anybody get away with answering is, who is that blogger out there? Is your blog a celebrity, which is a celebrity in the blogging world? Who would you want to meet most out of any blogger if you could meet anybody? Jen?
I think it would be Jen, just because she has, like I said, she has so many different interests, I feel like, that is similar to me, and I feel like my blog is kind of like my story of what I do every day. You know, like I come up with these crazy ideas, and sometimes it's cooking, and sometimes it's sewing, and sometimes it's gardening, and whatever it is, that's what you read about. And I feel like she's very similar. You know,
she's the same way. Yeah. She is very much the same way.
Yeah, and I've heard a lot of people say, you know, oh, that's maybe not so great for your blog. But you know what? I mean, I think you have to find your own way as a blogger, and you know, you have to do what you love and what your passion is, because if you don't, then that's not going to be seen by others, you know. So.
Well, I think you have to have your own voice, and that's the most, I think when you start a blog, you have to be genuine, and I think that's what people connect to. They connect to how genuine you are and truly who you are, and I think that's what makes Jen so great, is when you see her blog, you know she's genuine. You know that that's her, and there's no way around it. That's Jen. That's who she is. That's her family, and you get to know her, and I think that that's very important. You find your voice, and I think that your voice is definitely heard. When I was writing up a feature post about you, I, of course, love your recipes, and I really love this one recipe, the focaccia pizza.
Oh, yeah.
I love that. And I really want to make that. My husband loves focaccia. He actually makes it, and it's one of those things that when he makes it, all of us come out of the woodwork. The kids, everybody come out of the woodwork. Oh, Dad's making focaccia. He lived in Italy for 2 years, and one great thing that came out of living in Italy for 2 years was the cooking. And he brought back focaccia, so we love it. And so I thought, you know, I could surprise him and make focaccia pizza, and he hasn't had that. So I'm really inspired by your recipes and that sort of, and that's your daily life. You know, you're sharing that, and I love that.
And that is so funny that you mentioned that, because as I was developing my blog, I put cooking on there. I don't really consider myself a great cook, but it's something that I'm working on, and it's something that I want to get better at. So I thought, you know, this will make me really
motivated.
Search out new things, try new things, which I think is what the whole crafting thing is about. And definitely cooking is a craft as well. So, that is funny though that you mentioned that part.
Yeah, I looked at. Well, you know, you never know what people are looking at, and I definitely love that focaccia pizza. It caught my attention, but it's also because I have a story. You know, I have a story of my husband, and when I think focaccia, I think about him. So, and of course the kids do too, and we just absolutely love it. So I would recommend everybody who's listening to this, go on over. You can see her blog on the screen and the cute little header that she has, and go there. It's easy. It's a .com, and be sure to visit it. And if you don't see the screen, it's easier than I thought .com, and go over there. You can go over there daily. I'm sure you're going to see her her life and who she is and what she's doing in her home, as well as cooking. That's, you know, in her home. And be sure to visit that. And of course, you're going to see her this week as she is the judge. She's in the hot seat making those hot, this impossible picks, because our crafters do not make it easy on you, but also getting inspired by all of them. So I hope everybody will come on over. And we also have, of course, a giveaway. So this week, look for a giveaway by Elks Dresses. This is a great little shop with little girl dresses, and it's all about little girls. So if you have a little girl, be sure to go over there and enter the giveaway. And she's also giving away a fabulous store credit, so you're not going to want to miss that. So this week we have so much for you to do. We have so much for you to look forward to. And we have 3 great tutorials to come check out. Tutorials that will help you make stuff for your kids to take to that teacher. And obviously it's all back to school and what to look for. And I certainly say thank you for giving your teacher advice as well as your back-to-school advice. It's really nice coming from a teacher. It's really nice to know those things and what we should do as parents. Coming from a teacher, that's just even better. Someone who was in the classroom and made a career out of it and changed lives and helped kids succeed. So I really appreciate all of your tips and hints and all those things we could take away. And of course, now you're on a craft blog journey, and that is a whole nother life, but it's a great one. And so we will see more of you and hopefully see some of your tutorials. If you ever want to come share with us a tutorial, you're more than welcome to do that. And so we have something to look forward to. And
I have, and I will continue to. So.
Yeah, I'll be asking.
It's a great place to be. It's a good community.
And of course, enjoying the competition, you know, enjoying the competition. It's always fun. And that's what I love about the CSI Project. It's a community of crafters, and it's a community of inspiration to create and to share and to inspire. And that is what we strive to do every week, what I strive to do, to bring it to you and to bring wonderful people like Ahna to you. And I always look for people, and of course when I spot one, I definitely want to grab them and get their advice and their craftiness and hope it rubs off on all of us. So I thank you for listening this week, and of course look for Ahna and look for wonderful things happening at the CSI Project. I will be with wonderful crafters this week, and so I will be posting every day what we're up to, what the craziness that we're up to. Of course, like I said, I will be with Becky from Inherently Creative. I will be with Mandy from Sugar Bee Crafts. Who else? We will be also with the whole Michael's crew. Will be testing out products that they're about to put into the store. So I will, of course, be your creative insider and reporter and bring it all back to you so that you have an insight of what's going to be happening at Michael's stores in the fall. And of course, we are also meeting Jo Pearson, who is the creative expert guru behind Michael's, and she's also the guest, one of the judges on TLC's Craft Wars, and we can ask her anything. So if you have anything you want to ask Jo Pearson, be sure to let me know, and I will take that with me as I meet with all of these wonderful bloggers and as well as the Michael's crew. And if you want to know anything about Michael's, if you want to know what products they're having out this fall, I will get that information for you and bring it back to you. And of course, I'm going to get a little bit of craftiness in, and I'm going to get a little bit of girl time in. It's going to be a lot of fun. No kids, just girl time and craft time, and what better way. And of course, I will miss my husband and children here in Arizona, but it's going to be a great time, and I will bring it all to you. And so look on Facebook each day and look on the blog each day, and I will pass that along to all the other crafters, which I know you probably follow all of their blogs as well. So I hope that you will have a great week as we all go back to school. And it's not a hard week for you. I know the first week is kind of difficult, but you can get through it. You can get through it, and those kiddos will get through it. And I'm so glad that we have wonderful teachers like Ahna out there that help us each and every day. So I hope you have a great week, and be sure to be at the CSI Project every day, as you will see many tutorials. And of course, you know what to do. Share your projects and inspire others. So come on back, and I hope to see you again.